Hello, this is Agnes Berengari de Harona, and I'm here with embroidery for the SCA period. In this episode, we are talking about couched and laid, or well, laid and couched work. It should be laid because you're laying the threads, then you're couching the threads. Okay, so the first part of this is we are going to be doing a we're basically doing a stitch of just laying threads down, kind of similar to a satin stitch, but this stitch is just we go down. As you can see, I already started it. You can see the thread right here. If you look right there, okay, I have basically, there's a knot in the back. I have dragged this over to here and I started it over here, and I just put it a little bit underneath, okay? I'm using the threads themselves to hide the ends of the starter. Okay, I'm going to take my glasses off so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to, and you're just going back and forth. About 1 or 2 stitches, threads, warp or weft threads, depending on which direction you're doing your laid work. Keep in mind that this is one of those stitches. This is a stitch, okay? This is definitely one of those stitches that it really helps to have it on a hoop or on a frame. Okay, so I've gone about as far as I can. So I'm going to go just a little bit below my stitch line. I'm going to bring my needle up. Okay. And I'm going to tuck it. I'm going to just kind of tuck it in there and bring it down. Okay. All right. So that's going to hide my end. Let me show you. Let's see if we can. There it is. Okay. So here's my little knot. And this is a good time to trim knots. Yes, I've got lots of scissors around here right now. Okay, good time to trim knots. And you can probably just trim that too. Okay? And you can trim it closer later. I wouldn't, trim it closer right now. I'm going to take my thread. I've got this is a wool silk blend from Brown Paper Packages that I like playing with. Is it period? Not really. But it really is this nice, soft, and fun. It's generally used by needle pointers. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to do my my little thing that I do, which is boop, fold it over, okay, and then bring it down. There we go. And we're going to flip it back over. Okay, there we go. And we're going to start it again, okay? So I've got that one done. Okay, boop, boop. There we go. I did my little knot. I'm doing my knot. There's my knot. Okay, see, you can see the knot. There's a knot. Ooh, knot. Now I can do this any way I want. I could just do, since I'm just gonna put that there, and I'm gonna go back down here. Okay, see, that's where it's doing underneath. Okay, and then I'm gonna go as close to this thread as I can get without, putting it on the same thing. I'm gonna go just over, and I'm going back and forth. And yes, I just did a sewing. I know. Agnes is such a bad girl. Okay. So I'm gonna stab, bring it down. Again, this is not when you really want to do in hand, because if you're doing it in hand, you're not going to be able to maintain tension, a very nice tension on this. Most of the stitches that I've been teaching so far have been ones that can be done in hand. This is one that I would definitely recommend you don't do in hand. See, I'm trying to decide where I want to put it. I think I'll put it there. Okay. So while I finish, I'll be right back to show you the rest of the stitch. Okay? Okay, I have finished laying the threads this direction on the vertical, and now I'm going to do the horizontal. You know, you can do this any direction depending on your piece, what you're working on. However, you know, just be aware that it's not necessarily gonna look real good. I'm trying to remember, looking at the Bayeux tapestry, if they did like horizontal and verticals, and I can't remember. I'm not a expert on the Bayeux tapestry, but I do know one thing, that what I'm going to do today is not what would have been done on the Bayeux tapestry, and that is I am going to I'm going to use a different color because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I'm going in here and I'm going to try to weave under here. There we go. There's my, I've just put that under. Okay, I'm going to take it in just a little bit under. There we go. Now, here's where the fun comes in. Okay, now that I've got that set in, I'm going to come up. Now I want make sure that these have been, I'm going to adjust these. Just use your needle to adjust them and kind of comb them, make sure that they're all in nice and neat. Yay, please be neat. Be neat, be neat, be neat. Okay? And, you know, make sure that they're doing what you want them to do. Okay, there we go. Now, I'm going to come up. This one's a little over too far, so I'm going to come up almost under it. Okay, good. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just go straight across. Voila. I have just laid a thread. Now I'm going to couch that thread down. If you were watching the couching video, you know that couching is just basically, I'm going to take little stitches, evenly, go for even. Okay, make sure that, like, if you're doing 1/4 inches, do 1/4 inches, okay? Do 1/4 inches. If you're doing 1/8 inches, do 1/8 inches. Just try to keep them as up and down, or as even as possible. And this is one of those things that, you know, and I'm trying to do this at an angle, so please forgive me if I'm kind of trying to stay up as close to the thread and trying to keep the thread at a, you know, nice horizontal level, and that it's gonna, when I'm done, it's gonna all be even. And it doesn't matter if you split the lower threads. Sometimes helps splitting the lower threads to keep the coverage, because if you don't cover well with your lower thread, you know, it will cause problems. So you don't want to have big openings of what's going on. So I'm going up and down. Ah, I did not want to do that. There's that. Yeah, you know, I boo-booed. You know, it's one thing to split the lower threads, it's quite another to split the thread you're stitching on. Okay? So I'm gonna come in, move that back over onto this side, and I'm gonna go through and do my, let's redo our there we go. Much better. Okay, it's a happy little thing now. Saying, okay, I like you now. I like you again. Okay, and what's going to happen? Okay, so there's that. And you just go straight across. And we've tried to stay as equal as possible. And now the next one, okay, I'm going to do one more at the end because I always like to do that. One more at the end. Okay, one more at the end. One more at the end. Okay, I'm going to go down about an 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch from that one. And once again, I'm just going to go straight across. Try to be as even as possible. I know when you're stitching, you don't necessarily think that you should have a level with you, but try to be as level as possible. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start as close to the edge as I can, because what I want to do, and generally this is what was done on the Bayeux tapestry, and yes, I have a cat, was I'm going to go in the, see, I'm going to look at here. What's that doing there? You, ouch. Okay, right here, I'm going to try to put this stitch as close to the center of these two stitches as I can. Okay, you can also, you know, maybe make sure your stitches are going like on a diagonal, but I'm going to do it in kind of a brick pattern. Okay, going straight down kind of looks, you know, most times you don't see straight down, you usually see more of a brick pattern. Just so you can see that. There we go. And we're coming back up. Okay, back up and back down. As close to the thread as you can get, and try not to, you know, and trying to be as centered as you can on the stitch above, on the line above, okay? And I will be right back. Okay, so I've gone through and I have stitched these 4 lines. I'm going to do my last line now. I wanted to kind of show you how, you know, I can, you know, when you lay it down, look at it, make sure that you have it nice and straight the way you want it, and then bring it down. Okay? Also, another little tip is as you stitch up, right? But when you come back down, make sure that you're going directly across from the other, you know, where you came up. So you go down exactly where you came up. Go to the center, come up, go down. Oop, don't catch your thread. You want to have a nice neat line. You don't want to catch your thread. Find your center. Bring it up. Okay, bring it down. And bring it up again. Bring it down again. Bring it up. Bring it down. Okay, I'm trying to get as close to the center. I got a little off here. That's okay. You know, people weren't perfect. You know, we're not perfect. People weren't perfect. But you do try your best. The only way I would, you know, you could always sit with a ruler if you want to make sure everything is exactly perfect. But I'm not going to be able to, I'm not going to do that. Generally this, you know, there it is. So you're just going up and down, and then we are at the end. We are going to go down. Okay. Gonna go down. Gonna bring this back around. There we go. I had a little bit of a problem with the right in here. You can kind of see it right here. Some of my, I had to restart and because some of my stitches, I accidentally cut some of my stitches, so I had to restart, and I was like, no. There we go. And I'm gonna steal this and see if I can fix this. But yeah, I was having some problems with this. So just be aware that things happen as you're stitching. Things are not necessarily going to be pretty and perfect all the time. You know, that's one of the problems with showing a work in progress when you're doing a competition and you're showing a work in progress, is people can see the backs. But keep in mind that certain ones, like this one, it has an okay back, it just doesn't have a real pretty back. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I'm going to go under the fabric. I'm going to do a quick check here, make sure, I knew it. See, can you see the shiny? I see the shiny, so I went a little too far. And then come back like that, because you don't want to get on, you don't want to have a purple thread going under all that pink, right? Or going over the pink. There we go. And we have a finished piece of laid and couch work. We have laid our thread and we have couched our thread. And you can see it right here. It's not completely perfectly even, and that happens too. But I just wanted to show you that one. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.